The following program is brought to you by Cloudcast Media, a podcast leader in developing shows to elevate local brands, local stories, and local storytellers. Cloudcast, bringing ears and minds home.
The San Diego Union Tribune and Retirement Strategies Group present the Union Tribune Community Spotlight Show with your host, Drew Schlossberg.
I'm Drew Schlossberg of the San Diego Union Tribune, and it's always good to have our friends on from the San Diego Foundation. They got phenomenal content. They do great services and programs. They're all about collaboration. Probably that should be the moniker on the San Diego Collaborative Foundation, because they're always working with great groups. And on the show with us today is Danielle Valenciano. She is the Director of Community Scholarships, joined by her colleague, Michelle Jaramillo. Did I pronounce that right?
You did.
Very, very good. She is the Director of Educational Initiatives. How you folks doing?
We're good, thank you.
Good, very good.
Happy it's Friday.
It is Friday. That's right, exactly. And y'all ready for the Super Bowl? It's a football game they play. Okay, I'm just teasing you over here. You going to watch it at all?
I am.
Are you? How about you? Not quite. Okay, very good. We get it. We'll start with you on this, Danielle. You've been at the foundation for, 8 years?
Yeah, 8 years now.
All right. Talk about what's in the key points that you do. You focus on scholarships, right?
Yeah, we're really focused right now because we're about to close our common application next Wednesday. So we are starting the scholarship season. We're up and running right now.
Right, exactly. And are the scholarships on so many different areas? Are they pretty much focused on youth? Are they focused on young adult? Are they focused on whatever the concept is? How does that work?
Yeah, we're offering 140 scholarships this season. They are focused on any type of post-secondary schooling. So we've got, most of them are for four-year universities, right, for high school seniors going into four-year universities, but we have over 60 that are for community colleges. We have graduate school, technical, vocational, professional schools. We even have scholarships for adults who finished high school, were out of it for a few years, and want to come back. Right.
Now, and you mentioned, you're talking about it's the season for it. Is it a window where, okay, we collect all of these applicants, folks who want scholarships in whatever the space may be, and you need to submit your application or whatever between this date and this date, then we get into committees and we decide who's going to get it. Can't give away $2 billion, even though I'm sure you'd love to, somewhere down the road. And now this is the window where you distribute it. How does that work?
Yeah, you just described it pretty spot on.
And we're done with the interview, and we'll see you.
The application was opened on December 5th.
Right.
So we give a 2-month period for students all throughout San Diego County to apply. We spend 3 months doing outreach to all San Diego school districts, nonprofits, government agencies, companies, tech vocational schools, so they know about it. We have been collecting them now since, and then we will close at 2 p.m. on next Wednesday, the 5th of February. We will then spend a good month with our team. We have a team of 3 in the office who will qualify all the applications, and then we work with all of our committees to make selections through early June.
Right, and so how much will you give out? And it varies based on the year, I imagine.
It does, but we've grown every year. Last year, we hit the 3 million mark. So we're really excited
fantastic.
About this. Yes. Right. Our donors are super generous.
Right. And does it range in someone will get between 1,000 or 5,000, or it could be 20,000? How does that work?
Yeah, the range is, we have a few $500 ones for community college. We have a $10,000 one for another scholarship. The most common is 1,000. The average is 2,500.
Right, exactly. And how many recipients will be there?
1,000.
So there'll be 1,000 recipients. Boy, that is just very, very impressive. So let me ask you this, Michelle. How do you get tied into all this? Do you focus on the education side only, or all over the place?
You can say that. The work that I do with Danielle around scholarships really focuses on a particular scholarship called the Community Scholars Initiative that we're really excited about. It's a new scholarship, relatively new scholarship. It's been around 3 years. And Community Scholars Initiative is a scholarship fund that allows us to start by taking a look at the entire region. So using data and research, we figure out what is going on in the region. Where are there certain student groups that are seemingly having the greatest obstacles to persistence and completion. And that's an important point because, fortunately, we've actually, as a sort of education movement, we've gotten a lot better at the access. Still not perfect, but we have gotten a lot better at the access at making sure all students have better opportunities to get to that first day on campus. But over the years, we've come to better understand that there's still significant obstacles and challenges in persistence. That means coming back year after year and finally completing, getting to that final day where you get to wear that silly cap and that awful gown that looks funny, but you're feeling so proud in.
Sure.
So that's our Community Scholars Initiative, and that's where my work is particularly focused.
Right, and so of the $3 million that'll be disseminated, how much of it focuses on community scholars?
It's actually a separate pot of money that goes out.
Oh, it's above and beyond that's fantastic. Okay, and again, when you do this and you put out, because you got marvelous donors, obviously,
yes.
And we want to say thank you very much. The San Diego Union Tribune Shoe Fund has been part of the San Diego Foundation for a while now. We were just talking about it in the last interview. We formed it in 1935 during the Depression, and so we moved it from our place over to you folks. So we're very much appreciative of that area. So when you do that, you mentioned all the data and the research, Michelle, behind it. Are you doing all that data and research internally? Do you have somebody helping you with the data and research to find what some of those obstacles are?
Yeah, that's actually my work, particularly the work that I do and do in collaboration with Danielle and her team is taking a look at the data, what education data is telling us about how students are faring.
Right, and it's so important in this day and age, and we know as the world has changed so much on how people approach college. A lot of data coming out of here. People are not necessarily going to 4 years of college. They're going to the community colleges and getting an apprenticeship and a certificate, and heaven forbid, actually starting without $200,000 debt. What a concept on that is very important. Are you looking at those trends too, Danielle?
Interesting thing. Michelle and I have had internal conversations about this.
Right.
And I think ultimately, Michelle's ultimate point is really important, that I'm a big believer in tech vocational degrees. I'm a big believer that everyone should have access to whatever type of education they want.
That's right.
But there is a dynamic that Michelle can probably touch on a little bit more about those who have the degrees tend to have the ability to help make the rules in society. And that's really important too. So we do push 4-year degrees because we recognize that 4-year degrees do equal a little bit more power in the community. Yeah,
we're chatting with Danielle Valenciano. She is the Director of Community Scholarships for the San Diego Foundation, joined by her colleague Michelle Jaramillo. She is the Director of Educational Initiatives. One of the spaces we are heavily involved in, myself personally and also in the Union Tribune, is college and career pathways, which is something that we should have been doing a long time ago. And so that's old fogies like me were doing it 30 years ago. But that wasn't the money wasn't focused on that. Now it is, and through linked learning and Connect Ed and all the things that are going on these pathways, which is so important in this. Do you work closely with groups like the San Diego Workforce Partnership to see which different areas? Here are the different 5 sectors that our people are going to look at? Yeah, no,
we follow their work very closely and work in strong partnership with them. In fact, we just had an event yesterday where we co-released a report on childcare and workforce and the dynamics between childcare and workforce. And that's the interesting thing about education is, education is not just about one school. Education is not just about even one school system or a particular test. It really, the ability for our young San Diegans to set their aspirations around their education and succeed, reach those aspirations, runs the gamut from infancy to their college-going years and beyond. So it's about working with partners, collaborating across all partners to understand those pathways, to figure out where the obstacles are along that pathway, along that life pathway, and work to remove those obstacles so that folks have the path. They have the path to reach their dreams. And when all of us are able to reach our individual dreams, our region can be ready for the future that we want.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Danielle.
This is an economic issue.
Yeah.
Our programs are embedded in local economy.
Right.
We know that 10 years from now, a quarter more of our workforce is going to need 4-year degrees. We also know the fastest growing population is the Latino population.
Right.
If we are not, and the Latino population does not have the degree attainment that other populations do in San Diego.
Right.
That's what our programs are doing. We are trying to build this economy so local people who live here are able to work here locally with good degrees.
Right. And of course, we all know the people entering kindergarten now, when they graduate from high school, 65% of the jobs that were there when they were in kindergarten aren't going to be there. There'll be different jobs, and as artificial intelligence continues to creep into the workplace, we all know that's going to be a game changer. And, maybe when we come back from break, we can chat more about this, Michelle and Danielle, especially the whole key is education and communication. You guys are very good at that. You have a lot of reports and you have a lot of data out there. But if the people don't have access to that data, you're very good at making sure people have access to it. They wouldn't even know what these pathways are. And I think one of the things we try to do quite a bit, the Union Tribune Multimedia Company, is partner with groups like yours or USD, School of Leadership and Ed Sciences, one of our friends and all that business, to get involved in that. We come back from break up. One of the things I want to focus on besides the scholarships is what can our listeners do to support your efforts? Can they help contribute? Can they become new donors, of course? Of course they can. They always can be new donors and the like. When we return with Danielle and Michelle chatting more about the San Diego Foundation and its scholarship program. I'm Drew Schlossberg. You're listening to the Community Spotlight Show here on Cloudcast Media Radio. We are brought to you by this group.
Cloudcast 180. Powerful people, powerful stories, 180 seconds.
Welcome to Cloudcast 180. We're here today with the president and CEO of Father Joe's Villages. Welcome to Deacon Jim Vargas.
Thank you, Charles. Good to be with you.
We have 3 minutes. Let's hit it fast and furiously. We're going to talk this morning with you about San Diego being a very expensive city, which creates a housing crisis, which is exacerbating the homeless crisis in San Diego. Let's talk about your leadership on this issue.
Sure, absolutely. We do have an affordable housing crisis here in San Diego. In fact, if you ask about the number one issue why people fall into homelessness, it's lack of affordability. And so they fall onto the streets, especially when rents go up, and rents are very expensive here. So we at Father Joe's Villages focus tremendously on housing. In fact, about 40% of our intervention is placing individuals into permanent and affordable housing. All right, so shows you the extent of what we do. And of course, there's services that go along with this, because in order for people to retain their housing, their dwellings, they have to have the services that they're necessary, whether it's mental health services or substance use disorder services, whatever that is. We have a Turning the Key initiative, whereby we'll be introducing 2,000 affordable housing units into the community during the next number of years. In fact, we just closed on a deal to purchase and refurbish a motel in the South Bay area. It's going to add 83 permanent supportive housing units. Next week, we'll be closing financially on a groundbreaking that will have 14-story building, 407 units of housing as well, taking about 550 people off the street. So housing is extremely important.
Which means you're investing a lot of capital. How are you finding that capital to solve the housing crisis in San Diego for homeless folks? 90
to 95% of our funding is public funding. Various sources, whether it be from the state, it be local, county, city, municipality. So most of it is public funding. There's tax credits that are involved there. The capital stack is quite large, actually.
So you're finding the land, you're finding the capital, you're changing lives. How are you minimizing the risk of future homelessness for these clients of yours? We're minimizing it through our services.
We need to make sure that in order for them to retain the housing, that they receive the services that they need, that are holistic and are comprehensive to their specific needs.
That's fantastic. Deacon Jim, in the last 10 years, your organization has taken 11,000 folks from homelessness to a home. So I congratulate you. Any closing thoughts for for our audience.
No, that's what it's all